So what we're going to talk about here is creating restaurant style or restaurant inspired dishes at home. But one of the things when you go out to eat and you tend to overeat and indulge and have a great time is sort of that guilt factor. You had a great time, but you get home and you think, wow, what did I really eat? My wife has this habit of actually jumping right online, kind of Googling how much was that steak? How much was this? And actually checking it, and checking it out. And what we want to encourage people is that you can have great restaurant style meals, but without all the guilt. I mean, how many people tried the fish with the faro dish today?
It was really yummy.
Good.
Delicious,
good.
great.
That's what we're kind of going to break down for you today to show how we create that dish. You might be surprised to find that when you see the portion size, that dish is around 500 calories, under 600 milligrams of sodium, and under 12 grams of fat. So
and high in fiber as well, which is great.
Compare that to a similar dish in a restaurant, risotto style dish, and you're going to be well over 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams of sodium, probably around the same for the calorie range. I mean, it's just going to be astronomical. It's going to be delicious, but why can't it be better for you? Yes, ma'am.
So why do restaurants go crazy with salt?
I don't think all restaurants do, but I'm finding more and more restaurants are starting to put salt on at the end. That's like the larger granule.
Right.
But some restaurants are high in salt because it brings it's a potentiator.
Like Chili's and
yeah, well, it brings flavor forward.
3,000 milligrams of sodium in a dish.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a conscious way. I think they're trying to get the best tasting food that their consumers want, that their guests want, and unfortunately, that's just where you wind up.
Right, but Kevin's actually, in his tenure here, has been watching the chefs that he works with, which are customers at places like that, and they're learning from him and from others how to reduce and still bring flavor forward.
For sure. And that's really what I want to share with you today is how to create for home use. We talk to chefs, we teach them. We've actually shown a similar dish to chefs, but at home people want to recreate that. This isn't a 30-minute dinner. I'll tell you that. This isn't something that, honey, what do you want for dinner tonight? Oh, can you make me the sea bass with the faro risotto? This is a special occasion, a Sunday dinner, something that you want to do with friends and family to really show them a wow dish. And I think they'll be even more wow when you go, and did you know that this dish was around 500 calories and where the sodium is? Because I think that's kind of a neat trick. So let's get going because you've got to bust the catch. We're going to start with our fish marinade. And this is, you had tilapia at lunch. This is a little bit of Alaskan halibut. We're going to start with our perfect pinch salt-free garlic and herb seasoning. Garlic and other spices like ginger and red pepper, they really do a great job at potentiating other flavors. If you add ginger, if you add red pepper is a great example. Young chef coming up, making a cheese sauce, wasn't just quite right. Chef said, put some red pepper in there. That brings out the cheese, that brings out all the other flavors, and there's so many spices that do that. Whether it's garlic, whether it's red pepper, whether it's ginger, or any number of spices, they all just kind of bring other flavors to life. And that's so important when you're trying to cook a more healthy dish, is how do you maximize flavor within all the ingredients. One of the other ways, a little bit of citrus. So spices and citrus and vinegars are a fantastic way to really drive other flavors. So we're going to take some citrus zest, put that on there, and then we're going to take a little bit of the citrus juice as well, this side, and squeeze that right on. So this is not going to be a long marinade. This is, a 5-minute, 10-minute marinade. We're not creating ceviche. We're just creating a quick way to get some flavor on there. For the risotto, we started with some dry faro that we dry toasted in a pan just to kind of increase the nutty flavor. We then cooked that in our unsalted chicken stock. So as you're cooking it in the stock, it's pulling the risotto, or the faro is pulling up the flavor of the chicken. It's making it more savory. It's making it more flavorful. When we're done with that, we're going to cook this al dente. We're going to strain and reserve the stock because that's going to be a key component to creating our sauce. And the sauce is really, this is what the sauce looks like, and we're going to blend some. But it's really what creates all the great flavor, in concert with the herbs and the spices and the other ingredients that are going on.
So we were talking about this sauce. This sauce was made yesterday, and because of the starch that's left from the faro, it actually can thicken up. So you can control you can make a batch of it, and you could control when and how you want to use it. And it's a great way to avoid the cream and the butter need, and use as well a vegetable, which is that half plate addition that you can bring into your rices and to your other kind of. You'd use it with rices, and what else would you use it with?
What's that? Oh, you could actually make a really nice creamy pasta sauce.
Blend it with the pasta.
For sure.
Quinoa, yeah, any kind of grain.
So what we've got going here, to the pan, we've added some fennel bulb. Because I only have 15 minutes with you, we're sort of speeding up the process here. So we're going to get a little bit of color on this and caramelize this. And this is going to be also, we're going to take half of this out, use it for the risotto, and use the other half for the sauce. So we're going to let this caramelize a little bit. We're going to add just a touch of garlic in here. And you guys have had Chef Len, right? Talking about building and layering flavors. This dish is another great example of how to build and layer flavors to really create, you know, a very exciting dish. So the next layer that we're going to talk about, we're going to make like an Italian style pepperonata. So a nice spicy kind of acidic pepper dish. So we've got some great roasted peppers here.
And you could roast them, or you could get them from the salad bar.
For sure.
You know, I'm one of those assemblers.
Yep. So we've got some of our salt-free garlic pepper. Take a little bit of our crushed red pepper.
Nice little bit of heat, boosts that metabolism a bit.
And then we take a little bit of sherry vinegar that brings not only acidity, but just a touch of sweetness as well. And when you think about the elements of this dish that are, you know, as we're building, we've got a nice kind of chewy risotto. We've got the greens, so we've got crisp, tender, peppery greens. We've got spicy peppers with a little bit of acidity from sherry vinegar. So we've got our aromatics in there. We're going to deglaze with a little bit of white wine. Okay, if I could ask you for the blender. So we could reduce that down just a little bit more and burn off a little bit of that alcohol. We're going to pull half of this out for use in the risotto. The rest of it we're going to add to the blender.
With the juice.
With the wine. And then we're also going to take the reserve stock that we cooked the farro in. So, you know, you're going to have some of the nutrients from the farro in here. You're going to have some of the starch from the farro, which is also going to help in creating a nice creamy sauce. Terry's going to take that and get that working. So now, while we are reducing, we're not eliminating. You know, salt and butter are not the enemy. The overuse of salt and butter and all those ingredients are. It's all about moderation. It's all about, it's all about, you know, controlling what you're putting into it and how you're potentiating the other flavors. You know, through the use of stocks, through the use of herbs and spices, it really creates a great dynamic flavor. We're going to add some cremini mushrooms in there. Again, another great source of umami. So how to build that layer of flavor. Mushrooms are going to bring savoriness. Mushrooms are going to bring that kind of savory, brothy note that really is going to...
And this, I love this because this could just be like a stock, a mother stock in your, you know, a mother broth.
Right. So this is, you know, once it's set up a little bit, you can see this is where the creaminess for that sauce is going to come from. It's not from a ton of butter. I threw maybe a teaspoon total of butter in there. We've added the mushrooms. We're going to add back some of the vegetables. While those are starting to sweat, we're going to get our fish going here. Crank it up, and there's the oil. So a little bit of oil.
Now this is where I become the pain, because then when he puts it down on the seasoned side, I'm going to season it again. And every time I've been doing this, I get a little spatter on my face. And then I also bring these to the table because depending on your guests, your family, some people like a little more, some people like a little less. I grew up with a husband that used to, oh, this one's the non-open one, you know, likes hot food, and my kids would watch the beads of sweat on his head to know just how sweaty it was. And then eventually they got there, but we would tone it down and bring it to the table. So these can all go right to the table.
I think one of the great things, you know, is the awareness of health and wellness has increased over the last 5, 6, 7 years. For me, as someone who's been cooking for an awfully long time, I think it's been a great service to go out to talk to consumers and talk to other chefs about, you know, what they can do to create more healthy. You know, you're seeing everywhere from K through 12 all the way up through dining. There's such a focus on health and wellness, and it's a great message for us to get out and talk about herbs and spices as salt replacers, as fat replacers, as ways to drive flavor. I mean, it says it right on my jacket, we have a passion for flavor in everything that we do. And when you look across all the things that we're doing as a company to help people to get better at cooking for their families, for themselves, for their friends, it really, you know, allows me to take my skills as a chef and really have an impact, which is, you know, it's kind of cool. Yes, man. The same thing with you guys. I mean, you guys are going out there and you're having an impact on people and you know, the way that they're living their life, and it's really a great thing. So.
That the company has a, I guess, I wouldn't say moral, but an ethical obligation to put out products that are healthy for them, the low in the salt. Is it more than just what tastes good, what sells? Is it
Flavor is king, but if you can use flavor by using the right ingredients to get people to make that transition, people won't stick with it unless it tastes great, and that's really where we, you know, our expertise is making food taste great and showing them how they can do it, you know, in a way that works for them.
right?
Yeah, I mean, we do, our CEO speaks about it. We should be helping people, much like certain retailers, certain supermarkets are now putting a lot more focus and attention on their not only their chefs, but their pharmacists and their health professionals. We want to help the consumer be able to bring flavor to bring flavor to their plate, but do it in a healthful way. And you know, there are times, like Kevin was talking about, go out to eat that 1,200 calorie meal. You know, there's a time for everything. But we're finding most people now are talking about taking small steps, and every day if I take a positive step forward, and these are simple ways to do that, where you can feel really good but not feel compromised.
For sure. When you make a typical traditional risotto, you're kind of adding in the stock and the cream, letting it absorb, adding more. But you got friends and family you want to hang out with, right? So let's kind of throw that out the door, because nobody wants to be attached to a pan when people are having a good time and cocktails and wine around them. What I've done here, and what I like about this too, is it's still going to absorb. You know, we've cooked the faro al dente. It's going to pick up some more of that flavor. It's got the great flavor from the chicken stock. It's going to start to pick up the flavor from the sauce. You can see, you know, it's got a great color. It looks creamy. You know, when you taste it, it's gonna taste creamy. So we're gonna let that reduce down a little bit.
I'm holding it because it's really, yeah, but it's looking good.
Huh?
It's a little pink, and I mean.
I got it all turned off there. I think we're good. So again, as this starts to reduce down, you know, looking at the dish, vegetable, 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 whole grain, no cream, a little bit of butter, a little bit of added salt. I didn't add it here because I added it yesterday. You know, a little bit of this, that, and you know, the other things that just bring that flavor together.
It's a dietary guideline success. Lean protein, half plate of vegetables, and high fiber. And it tastes really delicious. So you don't feel like you're compromising anything by following what's recommended.
Without a doubt. So we're going to let this come down. Any questions so far with what you're seeing, or really anything about the day? I mean, has it been a good half day to come up?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yep. Would you like to come to my farm meeting?
Sure, why not?
That's the only unanswered question.
Well, but this meal as well, like we were saying, there's ways to do this sort of more quickly, and you could pick up a lot of this stuff, quick cook of a fish, you know, fillet, and then you could just have even a, you know, a Uncle Ben's rice if you want it real quick, but you put some of that vegetable in, you put some flavor to it, and you feel like, you know, it's within 30 minutes easily.
I know a lot of people that cook big on Sunday, so to speak. You know, making that sauce and having a quart of sauce in the refrigerator, in the freezer, pulling it out, and just being able to do this, you know, cooking a big batch
Takes
of
a little
faro
bit
or
of
brown.
thought, but not too much.
Absolutely. I mean, but if, you know, people are trying to feed themselves or their families, there's always a little bit of kind of pre-planning that goes into that to make it happen. So we're going to take some of the faro here. We're going to make a nice ring of faro.
Ring of faro.
Ring of faro.
Oh my.
Should have worn my black chef coat, and could have been my Johnny Cash moment there. So we got great.
He did.
Great greens that go on top of that. A nice piece of fish. You're going to finish that off
So
with.
the fish then kind of wilts the green.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
You know, a nice big happy health and a roasted peppers there, and you know, that's a wow dish for anybody. If you got that at a restaurant, or if somebody served that to you at home, you know, the portion size is great. The nutritionals are right on the money. I mean,
$5 plate.
yeah,
Yeah,
easily,
right? Yeah.
easily. You know, and just it's a lot of food. Terry said that's dinner and lunch for her. You know, and maybe even for me too. But we certainly appreciate you guys being out here today. It was such a fun day to have you here. really hope you have a great conference and hope you learned a lot today.
Hope to see you again.
Having you.
Okay, I'll see you in my kitchen.
Yeah, right, good. Maybe we'll see you in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks
All
so
right, guys,
much.
thank you.